Tasman District Mayor says farmers whose land was carved up to make firebreaks during February's blaze will start getting payouts as soon as Monday, when $1 million of lottery funding is expected to land in the council's bank account. More than 2,300 hectares of land was destroyed by the bushfire, with thousands forced to evacuate their homes for weeks. The cost of the damage is being covered by the Mayoral Fund, Drought Relief Fund and lottery money. So it's complicated, and Mayor Richard Kempthorne talked me through it.
The government so far have contributed $170,000 into the Mayor's Disaster Relief Fund.
So you've got that money, it's in hand. So how many applications have you had for that money?
We have had about 100 applications for that money.
And have you ticked off any of them? Approved any of them?
We've got through about 18 of them so far. Next Monday we've got another 6 coming through. And what we're in at the moment is there's a lot of applications have come in. There's more information needed on some of them, so that is being followed up. And in the next 2 or 3 weeks, a lot of those applications will be covered. So
how much money have you paid out then?
We've paid out about $45,000 so far. And that's out of about a total of $496,000. So the total of 496, 170 is what government's contributed. The rest has come from all over the country.
Why is it taking so long?
It's taking so long because we've got several different lots of applications. We've got a disaster relief from fire. Part of that is actually paying for damage to the properties caused by firefighting. So that's being pulled out into a separate group, and it'll be paid for at this stage through lotteries. And we've got another $50,000 that has come in that will be paid out in the drought relief. So it's a really busy space. So people apply. We often have to go back for more information. It has become extremely busy and quite complicated, and it's taken longer than we had wanted, but we're getting there.
How much money are you still expecting to come in? Is there any other money from the government that you are waiting on?
There's not money from government that we're waiting from at this stage, but we had been expecting that the government would cover the cost of the damage caused by firefighting. In the meantime, lotteries have said they have contributed $1 million, and that's going to come through to us probably on Monday, and that's going to cover all of the damage to the firefighting as a result, damage to properties as a result of firefighting. But apart from that, we've got the rest of it for all the other damage caused by the fire that is affecting properties.
So that $1 million from lotteries, you expect to cover the entire cost of damage done via firefighting?
Yes, we do. And we also expect there could be a little bit left over because they've also said it can cover costs associated with not-for-profit organisations who helped with the fire.
So what's the problem then? Sounds like it's all sorted.
It is, but the problem is when it comes to having a fire and damage is caused by firefighting, because inevitably when firefighting occurs you have to form fire breaks, and in this case the bulldozer went through properties, it went straight through boundary fences, internal fences, and quite a lot of damage was done. And the government had said, and I will read to you, that it would provide financial support to landowners whose land was damaged because of fire breaks cut to fight the fire. Now, the issue is, if we don't get this resolved with this fire, which is the first fire that's done under the FENS Act, then the next time there's a fire, there will be absolute uncertainty as to how that will happen. And all of the people involved in firefighting, it'll make it considerably more stressful and challenging.
But don't you have that sorted? Because you've got the 170 grand in the Mayoral Fund, and you're saying that lotteries is stumping up with $1 million, and that will cover the cost of that damage.
Yes, we've got money for this fire, but it has not resolved the issue of the government in the future with the next fire, who's going to cover the cost. That needs to be resolved, because when you have a fire, there is no time for any of this discussion. The firefighting simply has to occur bang on the money, and that can't happen if there's no resolution to this issue.
But Mr Mayor, is that your problem, or is that a broader issue that someone else should be dealing with?
No, that's a government issue. And so that has been the problem that we've been grappling with, because there hasn't been certainty.
Some concerns have been raised about delays dealing with this issue, potentially being related to the mosque massacres and the gun buyback. Do you believe that to be the case?
Well, that certainly was part of the discussion that we've had with government. This is 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right. Who specifically and what was said?
This would be within civil defence and emergency management and government officials.
Right, and what have they said to you about that?
And the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet. Well, so what they said is that since the fire and the understanding that the cost would be covered by government, that there had been a significant commitment that was being made between 300, 700 million or $1 billion for the buyback, and that was just creating problems within Treasury, having to be cautious and not commit to any additional spending at that point.
So they told you because of the cost of the buyback that, well, they're looking to cut costs elsewhere or be more frugal elsewhere?
No, it wasn't cutting costs elsewhere. It was being cautious about where they were committing money from and what budgets and exactly how that was going to come through. They were being more cautious because of the additional commitments that had occurred. In addition to that, we've also had the flood down at Fox Glacier and the tip that has been unearthed there, and a significant cost that needs to recover the damage from that. Just
to be absolutely clear, which official said that to you, or which politician?
Look, it was just various discussions with officials, so I think it's not particularly helpful to say which ones, but if you focus on civil defence and emergency management, that would be the majority of the conversations that we had.
And that is the Tasman District Mayor, Richard Kempthorne there.